Hello, me again. So hopefully by now, everyone who's watching this video just watched Frankie's video. That was definitely my favorite one of hers so far. It was like non-stop giggling. So, a few videos ago we had talked about trading our stories, and we did. Frankie's still reading mine, but I really, really appreciated her comments, and I definitely needed it. Writers get into this. In fact, I'm going to read this tweet that I did earlier. I retweeted something that someone from NaNoWriMo. Someone from Nano said, "Just realized my NaNoWriMo entry is Schrodinger's novel. Until I finish the rewrite, it's simultaneously brilliant and awful." Yeah, and that's how I think that we've been feeling about our stories, is both like really good and really bad at the same time. And so we traded them, obviously. And Frankie's video actually probably should have come after this one. So what happened was, I sat down with her novel, and I've never read it before. All I had seen of it before was like, I don't know, I think it was like the first chapter of her old write. This is a rewrite that she did. And it was good. Going into it, I was a little bit worried because it reminded me of a movie called Limitless, which is where they awaken part of your brain, and it's like this crazy, like, it's almost like a drug. And I was really apprehensive about it. And so, but Frankie really liked it, and you don't ever tell your friend, yeah, your idea sucks. But, after I sat down and read this thing, I couldn't put it down. Like, on the Google document, it was like 143 pages. I sat down and read the whole thing in one fucking sitting. I'm serious. Like, I could not put it down. I read it at every one of my breaks at work. Came back and I sat down and I read it just straight through, because it's really, really good. So another thing I should probably tell you is that for my entire life I have read nothing but fantasy. I mean, there's been a very few exceptions, like The Hunger Games, and I have read this novel called Stiff that was about cadavers, which is really cool. I mean, there are very few pointed exceptions like that. But for the most part, my entire life, I read nothing but fantasy. I literally, like, fought with my teachers when they made me read things that weren't fantasy, because I can't stand nonfiction. I can't stand, like, science fiction. I can't read anything that's not fantasy without, like, getting bored or feeling like I'm learning something, which is even worse, because I spent my whole life, like, learning things, and I don't want to learn anymore. Unless I want to. It's different when you want to, but when I feel like people are making me learn things, I'm done with school, guys. So I sit down and I read this thing of Frankie's, and it's, it definitely fits very solidly in the science fiction genre, but it's also like a twist of horror. And it's really, really good, and I couldn't put it down. So the fact that, like, it's not even in the genre that I enjoy, and it kept my attention all the way through, was really, really cool. So, I don't want to give away too many plot details. I'm going to leave that for her. But basically, the major things that I like about it is that I love and hate her villain. She's just like, she's real fucked in the head, and I love it. Let's see, what else? Her side characters all definitely have like that hint at depth. Like, they all have a background story that you get like hints of, but she doesn't waste the time, like, digging into that unless she needs to. So Frankie doesn't waste words at all. Whereas, like, mine, there's all kinds of, like, flowery detail shit. Frankie doesn't waste her words. So everything that you see in there is very important. And there's also, like, there's a couple threads with her main character that I'm really impressed that she can keep going on. Like, there's always little tiny hints of it throughout the story, and it's building this sense of urgency. So, like, you can't put it down because you feel like at any second shit's gonna hit the fan. Spoiler alert, it does, because it's a book. So yeah, I couldn't put it down. I cannot wait, because, like, I see things, like, as I'm reading it, I can totally imagine these, like, movie scenes in my head, and I told her, I was like, I want to watch the movie. And she was like, well, go get a movie. I was like, no, I mean, I want to watch this movie. Like, I want to see the windows blow out, and I want to see, like, people scream, and I want to see, like, this scene right here, and it reads like a very entertaining sci-fi movie. It's very easy to read, it's very entertaining and exciting, and it progresses very nicely, and I can't wait to see how it ends. So, like she said, when because I'm saying when, not if, when her and I are both published, each of us are getting the first signed copies, and I cannot wait to have that thing in my hands. I'm gonna like give it to everybody as a present. You need to read this. You need to read this. You need to read this. It was just really cool. I was very worried because, you know, it has to deal with like mind powers and, like I said, unlocking the brain, and I'm like, everybody's done that before, but she does it in a very, very different way, and it's very deeply psychological, and it's just awesome. So when that comes out, you guys need to read it. You really do. That said, it was really nice to hear her comments about mine. Because after I read that, and I was like, I could totally see somebody making this a new movie, and I could totally see her pitching this to an agent, because that sciencey shit, they just eat that up. So now I'm like, mine seems like it's so long and boring and awful, and she's like, no, 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 don't say that at all. But I feel that way. So I'll get better. I actually am planning to spend a lot of time editing tonight. And I have very, very, like, thoroughly edited the first 4 chapters. I completely chopped off my prologue. I'm working on trimming out unnecessary words. I'm done licking my wounds from when Rachel baited. And now it's finally starting to sink in, and I'm like, okay, I will consider what you've said. And also I had a talk with her, and she's gonna... She didn't actually realize that I wanted her to leave positive comments, too. I was like, can you, like, once in a while point out something that you do like, so that I don't feel like you just hate the whole thing? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you wanted me to do that. She goes, you know, my students sometimes seem really sad when I do that to their work. Maybe there's something to be learned here. So she went back and wrote a whole bunch of positive comments. So the beta is trained, her work has been internalized, I'm working on it. So I chopped off the entire prologue. I've edited out probably 800 words besides that are just extraneous detail that don't need to be there. I've noticed that there's some times when I have like passive voice, like had been, had said, and was doing. And it's really hard for me to identify that, because in my head that's like flowery language is just kind of how it flows. But I found it, and I'm fixing it, and I think that it's good, so long as I don't miss any, because that's going to be a problem, because then I'll have mixed up tenses, and it'll be a problem. But I'm working on that, so I'm going over it with a very, very fine-tooth comb right now. I'm still very scared of the second half, because I know it's a mess. But it's on its way. I have all these great ideas that are clamoring to get out now, plus the 2 sequels. Or at least 1 sequel, probably 2. I don't want to be just another trilogy author like everybody else is, but I can't fit it in 2, and I don't think it's gonna stretch out to 4, so I guess we'll see. This is my excited face. So yeah, I'm gonna work on the story today. What else was I gonna say? Oh, one more thing. Frankie wanted me to put this in the video. And my screensaver just started. So, Frankie got a personal message from somebody that had said that they saw my tweets. If you're reading this, or if you're, like, checking out our blog right now, please add me on Twitter. I'm really trying to build my social network, and the more people that see me on Twitter, the better. You don't have to, like, retweet me all the time, although I'd like it if you did. But I'm at SKBalk, B-A-L-K. Please follow me on Twitter. I'm really starting to like Twitter. If you're following us just on WordPress, that's cool too. But Frankie had gotten a PM from somebody who had seen my tweets about her story and how excited I was, and was like, where can I get my hands on that? I've actually gotten a couple comments like that for mine as well. I had a coworker that was like, where can I read your book? I'm like, no, it's not done yet. It's not published. I'll let you know what it is, though. Follow me on my social media. So it's pretty exciting. I'm starting to generate some interest, and Frankie's starting to generate some interest. I got her tweeting again, so that's fun. I forgot what else that I was going to say. I went to the gym today. That's my life update. That's my friend Jory. My life update is that I went to the gym today. That's 3 times in a week. I'm doing good. I am reading. I feel a reading binge coming on. I read Frankie's story. I'm also reading Tiffany Rice's, I think, Rice, Tiffany Rice, R-E-I-S-Z. She's a smart writer. I'm reading Tiffany Rice's The Angel, and I'm reading Jacqueline Carey's Santa Olivia, because I was told I needed to read it immediately. I want to read Patrick Rothfuss's The Name of the Wind, but I know I own it, and I don't know where it is, and I'm upset. I might have to buy it again. In the meantime, I'll read those other 2 first. And this is a really long update. I'm gonna go, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.